It was like so crazy to me. My first semester at USC, I'm sitting in the Eileen Norris Cinema Theater, Leonard Maltin's like sitting up top, and then suddenly they're coming in and telling me my movie's being made. It was like a dream. So much change can be made within audiences through films, and like it's how I've come to a lot of my personal opinions and beliefs, so I hope to inspire others within that as well. I try and stay optimistic. I mean, it's obviously an interesting time to get into filmmaking, or honestly like any career in general right now, amidst our recession. However, like if I'm not optimistic, it's just too depressing. So yeah, like I think especially trying to look at the bigger picture and see that like I'm pursuing film, like I just feel like really lucky to be here and to have like the education and the foundation.
Kayla, welcome to our show.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Kayla, how would you describe yourself as an artist?
I think I like to explore, experiment, and have fun. I think there's so much to figure out still that I'm like still trying to find my niche and really like excited to try anything and everything. I feel like I've taken so many classes just to like hone different little pieces of my craft that like at this point I know that I love to do like experimental or slice of life or coming of age stories, but I think there's so much that goes into that too that I don't think there's like one word or like one specific way to describe it other than just like maybe adventurous. Like I'm just really wanting to try anything, everything until I can like really hone in on what I like, but at this point we're still figuring that out. So yeah, I just love to like try and do a bunch of different things.
That's awesome. And how did you first get into filmmaking and in general?
Yeah, I found kind of like a really strange path here. I started in communications at USC only because I had no idea what to do with my whole life, but took some film classes, and that kind of changed like the whole way I was thinking. I decided to write my first screenplay and submit it to our film club here. And I got really lucky that it was picked. And so then I applied to direct it, literally had called the president of the club like prior to that being like, so what is a director? But I was just excited to like dip my toe in, and I was picked to direct it as well. So I like went down every YouTube rabbit hole of like what directing is and how to do it and be good at it, and we did it and I loved it. And so I changed my major, I started doing more of it, and that's kind of what brought me here. But it was definitely not really something I expected coming out of high school or even like starting at USC, so it was kind of fun to find my path along the way. But yeah, here we are.
So when you first got into USC, you weren't really sure what exactly you wanted to do in the future, right? Were you like anxious at all about not knowing, or were you like excited just to explore everything?
I would say a little bit of both. I would say a lot of anxiety about it because coming out of high school, I didn't know. Like there was just so many things. Like I was like, maybe like fashion, maybe marketing, magazine, like editorial. There was a lot of different things I considered, but none of it felt right. So it was like a little bit of excitement to find the thing, but there's so much out there. I was like, what could the thing possibly be? Like I was very stressed about like finding it at all or getting even close. So there was a lot of anxiety with that, but it's like all part of like my thing of just wanting to try everything and like wanting to do everything. It made it a lot easier because I knew what I didn't like. So it was very exciting to find the thing that I did.
And how do you know you found the thing?
Honestly, like sometimes I still am not sure, but it's just like the thing that makes work not really feel like work. It's like something that brings me joy. I get to collaborate with like such good friends or make such good friends along the way. Plus like getting to make art is something that is like, it feels so special to get to do as a job, hopefully. And so it just really like feels validating to like make things that can make people smile or make them feel moved or make them feel something. And so that makes me feel very validated in what I do.
That's great.
And talk a little bit more about the project that you worked on sophomore year. But that was your first time directing?
Yeah, so yeah, Manifestation was the screenplay I submitted and then was chosen to direct, with you here as my DP. That was really fun. My favorite genre, at least like coming into this whole thing, was rom-coms, especially like 90s, 2000s. Like 10 Things I Hate About You is still like one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I really wanted to make something just like fun and like lighthearted, like at least to start out with. Like I wasn't gonna, start with like a Christopher Nolan straight off the bat. So we made a fun rom-com and it was just like super fun. Got a whole big cast and crew involved to tell a fun little story of these two girls who are like manifesting their crushes to fall in love with them. But they're under the full moon. The like magic is right. It's all lining up, but they don't write the last names of these boys. So every boy with that name falls in love with them. And it was just funny to like film a bunch of different like love proposals and guys serenading them and trying to ask them out and take their hand, and then them turning down a bunch of guys until they found the one, and true love breaks the curse at the end of it. So it was just fun. I think we had a good little time shooting around USC. We got to push someone in the Levy fountain. I think that's like my favorite thing to look back on from USC, honestly. But yeah, it was really fun, and it just like showed me how much fun it is to be on set, but to plan the whole thing too. Like there's so many stages of the process that I didn't even realize went into it. So it was like really fun to discover all of that.
And what was something that you took from that experience to your upcoming and next projects?
Definitely, like, so much, honestly, because this is my first time. I learned everything. I made a whole little list of things, like, do better next time, or do this, do that. But one big thing for me was just to be even more collaborative. Like, I definitely felt like I had collaborated individually with people, but now to, like, bring everyone together, at least it's, like art departments and like camera departments, like bring everyone together early on, get more bonding processes going. Like I love a set where it really just feels like you're working with friends. I feel like the dynamic is so much better. So for films going on, like I threw like little like mixers for my crew, or like game nights or something like little simple and fun, which was, I think, so effective for going into set. Everyone knew each other, was comfortable already, and then we can like start without the icebreakers and stuff. So it made things a lot easier, and it's just more fun that way too.
Absolutely.
That's great. And also, you transferred into film production or cams?
Into cams.
Cams.
Yeah.
So would you say like your overall film school experience was worth it, or what's your opinion on film school?
Question. Wow. Honestly, like, yeah, I think obviously as a cams major, it's a little bit different. And I would say especially for cams, it's what you make of it. I wasn't hoping to be a critic or like a big theorist or anything. So like for me, it wasn't cams that was specifically going to feed directly into what I do, but very much still does, in the way that it like totally broadens my idea of the history of film, the importance of learning like emotional technique and visual technique. We study so much of that, of like film analysis, that it really helps me to work on my projects and like really visualize how I want them to be, how I can contextualize with like blocking and framing and performance. So I think that has helped a ton. But film school in general, I find that the biggest benefit is the people, because I've met so many lovely people and been able to collaborate on so many projects so much easier because of the community that's around me. And like, yeah, I think it's been the most beneficial for me and been the most worth it for me, because I've worked on like a lot of independent projects, a lot of projects for school, but outside of my own classwork, that has really made the journey worth it, I feel like.
And talk a little bit about your editing experience, because from what I know, you are hoping to also edit as a main craft among the many things you can do in film. So talk a little bit about how you got into editing and what you hope to do with it in the future.
Yeah, I had only used iMovie up until like sophomore year when we took 290 or junior year. And so that really introduced me to editing as like a craft, because before that I would like throw together things and just kind of like boom, 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 like put it together front to start. But then we got access to the labs and we learned Avid, and it all felt like so big and professional that I was like really excited to dedicate so much time to it. So I spent countless hours in those labs.
As one does.
As one does. I lost sunlight, like lost sleep, but I found so much fun, like being able to sit in front of the computer. Time would fly and it felt like no time passed at all. And it was just really fun to like figure out what goes where, what I can build up, what I can like break down, like how much tension I can put in, all based on like the way you put things together. Like I found that just so interesting. I didn't really consider that as like a craft before then. So I definitely like found it within 290, but since then have like worked on a ton of other films as the editor and like learned all the different softwares, and now I'm in a After Effects class too, which is so fun. Just getting to learn way more of it. And yeah, it's been really fun. I feel like there's still so much to learn with it, but I edited Teddy and Elizabeth as well, so definitely got a few things under my belt now, and it's fun. I think I heard once that a movie is like made 3 different times, when writing, when directing, and then when editing. You can totally shape the way it's told and comes across within those 3 stages. So it's really fun for me to then in that last stage like really get to pull my vision through, especially as a director. Like I think the combination of a director editor is just so valuable to like really sell the vision, because from the very beginning to the end, it's exactly how you can control the situation and like get your vision through. Yeah.
Talking about Teddy and Elizabeth, Manifestation was a script that you wrote, but Teddy and Elizabeth was a story that I think that you worked with a co-writer on, or she originated the script and you directed it. So I'm curious, what was that process like, directing a story that you didn't necessarily originate, and how did you collaborate with the writer to bring the story to life?
Yeah, that was definitely new for me. It was my first time directing something I hadn't written, but she was a good friend, first of all, so it definitely like eased the process for me. But she brought me a short story she had written and said it would make a good film. I read it and it definitely, I thought would. It was very original, so it was exciting for me. So we turned it into a screenplay together. We adapted it. Although she did like the writing, I helped her with what would make it and what wouldn't. So I think that definitely helped to have like a professional on my side. She's like a creative writing major, so she definitely knows her stuff. And she also had a very strong vision for the short story, and that really helped carry through what was important to bring to the screenplay. But from there, she also became the lead actress. So she also was a huge help in like carrying through the vision and telling the important parts of the story. It also was a story that began to like resonate deeply personally to me, even though it was based on her life. But I think because I know her so well, I could just like really help to bring that to life. But B, there was a lot of it that's relatable to like a lot of young women our age as well. So I think just being able to put myself into the shoes was able to really see it all in my head and like really piece it out in front of me.
Was this for like an independent project?
Nice. Yeah.
And the previous project where you worked with him on was for a film club.
Film club, yeah.
What's the club called?
It's the Trojan Filmmakers Club.
Nice. You want to talk about what that is and how it was in your life?
Yeah, I was part of it for a long time. That year, I just worked through the club on this project, but I found it was such a great way to be introduced. It's primarily, at least it started primarily about like bringing new filmmakers into the business, and now it's definitely elevated into like making like professional projects. But I loved where I started with the club just because I had no idea what I was doing, and it really helped me to find a community instantly. And we were so lucky to just walk onto a set that was already funded, already crewed. We had equipment, like it was the easiest thing. And so it made me think filmmaking was a little bit easier than it was.
Yeah.
Going into like my own independent film where none of that came with the deal. But it also showed me it was like all doable as well. But I had a great time. I became part of the development team after that, helped bring some more scripts into fruition, produced a few of them, edited a few. So I was with it for a while. But yeah, I think it was great. They have like workshops all the time, and especially like starting out, I find that it was like so beneficial. And like, I mean, the club fully changed my whole career, like whole outlook on like what I was gonna do in the future. So it was a huge like beneficial thing for me early on.
Freshman year?
I joined my sophomore year.
Okay, so it was a little bit exploring freshman year, and then you were like, "Ooh,
yeah."
film
I mean,
is cool."
I transferred to USC as well, so I got here sophomore year, joined my first semester, and that's when I submitted Manifestation. So it was like straight off the bat, like, wow, okay, like this is what I'm doing, and it was really awesome. So.
And were you part of DKA at the same time, or was that like after?
No, I actually just joined DKA the spring semester of my junior year, so it came a bit later when I had pretty much been like phased out of Trojan Filmmakers Club. And so then it was like another amazing opportunity for finding community and like making friends and working on films that are also like that have that funding, just like making it easier for filmmaking. So it was a good transition.
And how do you feel like the club and the Filmmakers Club and the DKA Film Club or Film Frat, like how do you think they were different?
With TFC, it's way less community based. It's like hard skills and like you make a film. And obviously you find community with like that set that you're on, those people you work with, but it's like you have that for a weekend, you know, and then obviously you know them after that, but it's not like you have these events all the time to keep up that community, whereas DK is like completely community based. You join and then you have a lot of bonding activities as like that class that you join in. Within the class and within everyone as a whole, they make you do kind of like one-on-ones, like 20 of them in your first semester, which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but it was such a great opportunity to really get to know everyone. And then there's a film that we all make together, as well as there's a lot of activities that are like requirements, but they're all fun. There's like fellowship activities, there are alumni events, there are screenings and workshops and mentorships, a lot of different things, but it's like really focused on first of all, like priority, knowing everyone and like actually becoming friends with the people that you are in the brotherhood with. But other than that, like honing your craft and like learning more. So I definitely think like DK is the way to go for finding that community. But I mean, yeah, I had great experiences with both, so.
That's awesome. I did want to ask, because DKA is a film community, but a lot of it is also about just art making in general. And I know you've taken, theater classes, and also, is it Roski in the School of Art? That's right. So like, how do you incorporate like different other forms of art, like performing art or graphic design or whatever, and how do you incorporate that into your filmmaking?
So yeah, I mean, like, first of all, you're right, like, DK is for everyone, like, we have engineers even, like, there's so much that goes into film behind the scenes as well, that it's like, you're working with everyone of every single department, so yeah, we have all sorts of fun artists and non-artists alike, but yeah, for me personally, I have a minor in performance art, which I've loved taking for... I started to take it to hone my craft as a director. It really focuses on, well, a lot of things, but like performance, obviously. But because it's performance art, which is a very specific kind of art that not a lot of people like are fully aware of, but it's pretty much like, imagine going to a museum and like there's an artist in front of you doing something live, which means it has like a start and an end, which means there's a frame, which means it's blocked out, which means it's obviously heavily performance-based. So there's a lot of things that carry through to film as well. And because of it being a different format of like live performance, I felt like it would honestly really help me directing, because we're working with live performers, even though it's not how it is in the final product. That's how it is on set. And so it helps me to like work with the actors, the performers, and get into their shoes as a performer. Like I've done a lot of performance art of my own now, which is like so interesting to be on the other side and like really experience it. So it's definitely helped a lot. I've taken a lot of fun classes, one based solely on like working with the frame. So that's just so interesting because our camera frames everything. So it's really interesting in like how many layers there are to performance art. So I've done a lot of that, and like theater additionally. But as well, I'm in a photography class right now, which is also so interesting in the way things can be framed and the way there can be like depth added to things. I'm not a DP, but it is interesting in my work with DPs to now be able to like understand a little bit more of where they're coming from, speak their lingo a little, just try and get on the same page. So yeah, it's been fun. I think everything I can do in art in general like will really inform me as an artist, because filmmaking kind of has like every kind of art within it. So yeah.
That's so great to see that you are constantly trying to explore and you're very curious about every part of the art form. You know, even outside of filmmaking, you're exploring like Roski classes and stuff. And like, where do you think you would want to venture into next?
Yeah, I honestly think it's photography. Like I said, I'm in a darkroom class right now. And I love it so much more than I thought. I thought I would like it or even love it, but like I could really even see myself doing that as a craft as well. I will say though, like my photography is inspired from my filmmaking. Like my professor has recommended me to be looking at artists that kind of have the same storytelling through photography that I like to do, like film still photography, where it's kind of like a moment captured in this photograph that could again be like taken as a film still, so kind of like a story within that. So I still love to like explore different kinds of art that have this storytelling ability, even if it's like one single photograph that you wouldn't think could do all that. But yeah, like every project I've done so far with that class has been revolved around something that is kind of fun to guess through the pictures. So yeah, I could see myself going there next and like really delving into that more. It's like the first time I've done photography, so there's definitely a lot more to learn and do with that. But yeah, it's been a like really fun journey to see that there's a lot more out there that I could see myself doing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, like, what are some ways that you find like inspiration from, you know, just for filmmaking, because manifestation feels like such a unique and specific idea. So outside of film or even outside of art in general, what are some ways that you find these ideas and then bring them to life?
Honestly, for me, my biggest thing for finding a vision, creating a vision and like really carrying that through has been Pinterest. It's like low-key kind of a free shot deck because, well, shot deck is awesome, but I don't have a subscription. But it's like, I really like it because it's open to so much more than just films. I mean, you can get anything from like a recipe to like house decoration inspo, but like if you curate your feed, like I have, like it brings me a lot of like experimental photography, concept photography. There's even like film stills on there. There's so much fashion and makeup and like there's so much on there, which obviously again all comes into filmmaking. So it really helps me for setting the whole vision from like costume to makeup to hair to PD, like it has everything I could ever want. And so it really does help me to like curate that whole vibe and aesthetic and really stick to it, so I can give each department a mood board and be like, this is what I want. And it's just also helps me to like visualize from the very beginning. Like for every shoot I have ever done, like I make mood board for like every little thing, and it like, boom, there's the whole vision right there. Let's like turn that into a movie now. But other than that, like inspirationally, it's just kind of like an idea that like pops into my head based on like a situation I'm in or a memory I have that I just kind of write down, and I have like notebooks and notebooks of like things I want to turn into something one day. So sometimes I go back to that, or sometimes it's just like the first thing that pops into my head for a project. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like inspiration's everywhere, so it's just kind of fun if you're open to finding it, to let it come to you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You got that notebook with all the ideas,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, I think at all filmmakers, we gotta have that list, because if you forget it, then, you know.
Yeah,
it's
like
gone.
David Lynch being like, it's the worst thing. It makes you want to kill yourself.
I know. Classic. But how do you feel like, you know, working at USC with all these people have like kind of influenced your directing abilities and like your filmmaking passion and stuff? I
mean, it's just so like collaborative at USC, and everyone's so much less like gatekeepy than I thought, you know? I think everyone's so open to collaborating, to helping you out, to answering your questions, to helping you find the answers even if they don't know them. Like every project I've done, it's been so fun to work with new people or people I've brought from old projects to the next. And yeah, I feel like everyone here is just so helpful. It's made my job a lot easier, because starting out, like, imposter syndrome was so real. It still is. Like, I'm still like, I don't know if I should be here. Yeah. But it's helpful seeing everyone kind of feeling the same way, feeling like we're all in the same boat, and yet everyone is still here to do the same thing. We all just want to make movies at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it is making movies, which is kind of just fun. And if you think about it that way, it like helps take off the pressure of doing everything right, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I found that like definitely at USC, it's been a big culture of learning and helping and doing all that through collaboration.
Right. Was that a big, like, because for me, I grew up for a while in Wyoming where no one made movies. Okay. It was middle of nowhere, like cowboys and like Yellowstone, right? Yeah. And I came to USC and everyone was just as passionate as I was. So I'm wondering, like, when you were growing up, were you more surrounded with filmmakers, or were you also kind of like, did you grow up in a place without a lot of filmmakers?
Yeah, no. I'm from Chino Hills, California, just like an hour from here. But it was not even something that like crossed my mind. Like obviously I had loved movies, and when I was little I always dreamed of working in film, but I didn't actually think it was a real job that you could get. Like I literally was like, oh, that's just like for like the sons of filmmakers, you know, like it's for the Francis Ford Coppola like nepo babies, you know what I mean? And so like in Chino Hills there was no film program or anything. We had theater, and I loved theater. I did a lot of that, which is kind of my pipeline. But it was just never something I considered until I was at USC, and then film classes had, you know, guest stars like Damien Chazelle, and I was like, like maybe if I'm here I could do it. Yeah. So that's when it kind of felt a little bit more real to me, is getting here. But it really is like amazing looking back, kind of like seeing where I am now based on starting at zero, not even aware of this at all. So it's definitely, I feel like totally in your shoes of like feeling like USC gave me that platform.
Yeah. Wait, did you take 466?
Yeah.
Is that where you saw Damien Chazelle?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I took it that same semester.
Really?
I also took it that semester.
Wait, so we were all in the same class?
I think so.
You were?
That's where we met.
I thought
Are
I
you
guessed
kidding
you.
me?
I thought I guessed it every time.
No. What?
I did. I guess I did see you. That was my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
That was my sophomore year.
Yes.
Yeah.
My first semester at USC.
Yes.
And so that was the class that for me was like, wow, like I could do this. Like I'm at the place to do it, you know?
They had some crazy good movies.
Yeah.
Hot take, Armageddon Time I love that movie.
Me
Wait,
too.
I honestly did too.
I love that movie so
Yeah,
much.
it was a
Okay.
fun
Flew
movie.
under everyone's radar.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I think we had like low-key the best semester, and I'm definitely biased, but I first of all love Damien Chazelle and Justin
Absolutely.
Hurwitz, so I was
Yeah.
like fangirling.
That was like one of the most like meaningful nights, I think. at
Literally
USC.
my
I was
whole
like,
life.
That was so
Yeah.
sad for me
Yeah.
because I wasn't there that day.
Oh.
And the thing is,
remember
I
that
knew
story.
they were coming, but I
What?
couldn't make it because, okay, so fun fact, I did marching band the first 2
Oh,
years.
that's so sick. What instrument?
Clarinet,
Oh,
actually.
that's so cool.
And I was in Vegas for the Pac-12 championship game.
Which is also so cool. Like
It was a lot of fun. We lost the game, but it was really fun. But I saw all of Richard's photos. He's like, "Yo, I got Damien Chazelle." I was like, "Wow, he's
I know.
one of my
Me and
favorite."
my friend took a selfie with Damien.
Oh my god, that's
Like,
awesome. Leonard Moulton, right? That's his name, something like that.
Yeah.
He's such an interesting guy, and I was like in the bathroom, and I was like, "Wait, this is my professor." I saw him in a documentary over what was it? Something like Winter Break or something, because he's like big, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I need a selfie with this dude too. And I took a selfie while he was waiting to use the bathroom. It was such a random.
Oh, that is so
it was-
funny.
I love that class.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I like randomly had one of his books growing up.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I
okay.
get to that class, I'm like, I know that name. I go home, I'm like,
Wow.
I have his book. Like, it's crazy now. You're sitting in front of me. I'm like, you're my professor weekly. Like, it's just so crazy.
Right.
Like, being at USC,
Yeah.
like, just the world we're, like, dropped into.
No, yeah, absolutely. I was
So
hoping
many, yeah.
for that class. Like the reason I took that class was hoping that Babylon would be there.
Literally.
And they never updated on like because they never tell us like exactly
Right.
what film
Yeah.
was
Exactly.
gonna be on. And I was like, I kept waiting and waiting. I was like, there's no way. Like,
I know.
please don't drop
Because
the
it was,
ball.
like, one of the last ones.
Yeah, I think it must have been either the last
Pac-12
one
championship.
or
Yeah.
or the
And
like
it's
second,
Second
to
to
last.
last, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they announced it, I was like completely I couldn't believe it. It was
And then to
incredible.
get Justin and Damien
Yeah.
was like a dream. Like, especially growing up, well, I guess ever since La La Land came out, it was like it was my favorite movie for the longest time. And it also like really helped to like fuel my love for movies and like Hollywood and the whole thing. So I was like, oh my God, like he's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like so many of us are in film because of La La Land.
Literally,
it's such an
yeah.
influential movie.
Literally,
Um,
yeah.
It's almost 9 years. It's 9 years ago that movie came out. Almost
Yeah.
10.
Wow.
One of our
2016.
first podcast episode, it was just me and Richard. He was fanboying over La La
Oh
Land.
yeah, absolutely.
Big time. I know
Big
my mom
time.
and I rewatch that all the time. Like we know all the words to every song. We go to the Griffith Observatory and like
Yeah.
sing all
Yeah.
the songs on the way up, you know.
Absolutely.
It's like big in my heart. So it was really cool.
You know, if you like La La Land, there's a movie. It's not a musical, but it's very similar to La La Land. It is one of my favorite movies. It's a Chinese film on Netflix, I think, called Us and Them.
Oh,
I believe.
okay.
It's about a love story of these two friends, and it was it's a lot sadder. I feel like than La La Land.
God.
Got me crying. I never usually cry on a movie, so that was so definitely.
Wait, I
check
love
it
a
out.
tearjerker. I will. It's Us and Them.
Yes.
Okay,
very-
I will check that
I gotta
out.
check that out. It's been on my watch list for a while now.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a great movie. It has good songs in it, but it's not a musical like La La.
Okay,
La La Land's
okay.
a whole different.
Yeah.
breed.
Wait, no, good to know. Like anything that could be even comparable to La La Land is something that's on my watch list. So
How was your because you took some production classes. You took 290.
Mm-hmm.
How was that like? Because that was one of your first classes when it made you make movies, right? And you
Yeah.
guys did the hotel project.
yeah.
How was
my-
that?
I honestly loved that class. It was like so much work and it was exhausting and I was just it's back to back to back projects while you're doing other classes and jobs and etc. But oh my God, it was so much fun, especially in the beginning. It was very helpful for me because it gave me like my second, third, and fourth film I ever directed as well. So it like really helped me to hone my craft more, learn more, work with more people when it was like very low stakes. Like it's still a class project at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But like I took it seriously. Like I put a lot of work and a lot of time into it, but it gave me a lot of things that I like now have in my portfolio and I'm like very proud of. and like gave me more experience with writing, directing, being a DP, even editing, like just so much to learn in every role. I really liked it. I had such a good time. Like, it made me wish I had the opportunity to take more production classes, but at the same point, it gave me such a good platform to bring into my independent films after that, as well as like collaborators, because our whole class is doing the same thing and we're all like working on each other's set. So yeah, now I have a lot of people I can work with.
No, that class was very fast paced. They gave you like a few weeks for one film.
And then you just move on to the next.
No, literally, it's
Oh my
like
God.
1 week you're writing, the next you're directing, the next you're editing, and then you're writing again. Like, it's crazy.
Who was your professor?
Katie Garrison.
Did you like her?
I loved her.
That's great.
I loved her. She's so great. She directed Frasier,
Okay.
and a lot of TV. And so, I mean, I'm not really at this moment interested in going to TV, but it was interesting to like see how that kind of resonates into short filmmaking. So I learned a lot from her, and it was also really cool to have like a woman directing professor, and like really help to give us a lot of advice about just navigating the field as a woman. So I loved her. I loved her.
What was sorry?
No.
What was, because you said you like editing, right? What was your experience using Avid? Because I mean, it's controversial. I feel like
I know, but I think I'm really lucky because I had only used iMovie before that, and not like something that's like a lot more in between, like DaVinci Resolve or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's time to like put on my big girl pants and learn a real editing thing. And because it was the first one I had done, it like made it so much easier. I feel like I didn't have
great.
any other things to unlearn going into it. It was just blank slate. And so I honestly really I like it less now that I've learned everything else. I will say, but like I really liked it coming into it, and I think it helped because like for over a year I was strictly on Avid, like doing projects through there, and now I have picked up everything else, but it helped foundationally like to learn everything else, because I feel like you kind of learn one to an extent, you know them all. So it definitely helped, and especially to learn it in a class was helpful, because there's so many things that can go wrong with it that it gave me such a better platform to like make sure I'm doing it right, and now bringing that into other projects and making sure that, you know, I'm not corrupting the whole thing from day one. So yeah, I still quite like it, and there are times I'll still like go back to that as my main girl. But I've also kind of transitioned to like editing more on my laptop at home instead of the labs. Although I'm trying to like set up my own lab at home and pay up a good computer and whatnot, so I can, you know, keep editing and do it for real.
the SEA labs are too depressing for me.
No, I know, I know. It's just like so nice to have fast power and a big screen. So once I get my own, then it's like I can work in the sunlight, like it'll be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important, getting sunlight as an editor.
Literally,
A
I know.
lot of times it's like you're just alone in your room and it's night and it's just you and the screen just going at it.
Literally, like there were so many days I would go down into the labs in the morning and I'd come out and it's just dark, like no sun for the whole day. Like I'm sure my 290 semester I'm vitamin D deprived as, so.
Yeah. Just going off of editing, now you've edited like other filmmakers projects where you're not necessarily as involved in the production side. How do you work with the director or the writer or the DP to make the edit? Because it must be a different process when you're like not as attached to the actual directing and the making of the footage.
Yeah, I did my first editing project that I was like not attached from the start with last semester, I think. Well, it doesn't really matter, but it was definitely so different for me because I was like, like I don't really know. Obviously, before I had talked to anyone, like, wow, like I could do anything. Like I could do anything because I don't have any initial like preconceptions coming into it. So it really helped me to like get those mood boards and talk to the director a lot, and see what her vision was. But I've since like worked with directors that don't really want to give me that and just kind of let me as an editor see what I can bring to the project and like take my own vision with it, which has also been really interesting. But I really appreciated having directors that are willing to work so closely with the project and just make sure that it's still on track with what they want, but also allowing me to bring my own like creative vision into it as well. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting transition to like come into it knowing nothing, but it's also maybe easier to like get into footage that you're not like emotionally attached to, you know? No like specific scenes that you as a writer or a director are like, oh, but this in production was so tedious to do.
Yeah,
like it has to be in
right.
it. So it is nice to be so much more objective and be like, it doesn't work for the film. I don't like, we're cutting it, you know? And if it, I mean, yeah, like it can really be a benefit to the film, I feel like, to not have any attachment to it. And obviously, like, I care so much about the project, but I think it helps to know what works and what doesn't and be okay with letting some things go. So I think it's really fun now. Like, I don't mind so much not being with it from the start because it is kind of fun to, like, come in and be like, okay, I'm going to snip, 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 and then I can contribute in a stage that, like, I didn't think from the start was a stage to contribute in. So, yeah, I kind of like it.
Would you ever want to do like freelance editing, you think, or would you want to be more like studio sided kind of?
No, I'm definitely open to freelance. It's honestly anything that gets money, anything that can pay the bills. But like, yeah, so far I guess I've only freelanced, you know, which I still love because I feel like there's so much more variance of projects that you can get. I mean, I would love to work with A24. That's like my biggest goal to edit for them. But it's also at the same point, I mean, they have a huge variation of projects, but they're all with the same kind of brand. Yeah. So at this point, it's kind of fun to work on so many different things, as well as different types of things. Like I've done like music videos and like super short form content, documentary. Like there's just so much more openness with freelancing that I love as well. So it's kind of
totally.
I swing both ways.
Yeah, I mean, editing documentary is the worst though. I could never do that. So much footage, like talking.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I've only done like shorts, you know, short documentaries. Because a long one is like, whew, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even short ones, they're a lot of times like dude talks for 3 hours, chop it into like a 5-minute story, like.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. I've done like 5-minute ones that are like maybe like a 40-minute interview, so I can, you know, he says a good like quotable line, I'm like chop chop chop.
You know, actually when I was making a documentary in high school, something I don't think most people do is, you know how when people cut together a documentary, they want to have this section is like, well, this is the theme of the documentary. And I just straight up asked the dude, I was like, what's the theme of what you're talking about? And he just said it, and I just used that, and I was like,
there you go.
It saved me so much like
no headache. Exactly. Yeah, before you're trying to like form it around his words that like maybe get the idea across and maybe don't, you know.
That was fun. Don't want to do it again, but
you got the experience. That's what matters.
Absolutely. Going back to like editing as a craft, like I think something I struggle with is when I'm editing for too long, I'm not even sure if it's a good cut anymore. Sometimes I play around with different things, but at some point I'm like, I'm not really looking at it with a fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah.
So how do you go about infusing, I guess, new perspectives and keeping it fresh and interesting, but also like true to the story that is being told?
No, it's such a good question. I think for me, it all depends on time. Like for Teddy and Elizabeth, I was lucky that my team afforded me time to take a break from the project after we came out of production. And obviously we're like all very excited to get into it, but I think it's so important to like really give yourself space from it for a moment to try and get those fresh sets of eyes on it, try and get a little bit more of an objective view. And I saw like in a Sean Baker interview, like he does the same thing. Like he loves to, like for Nora, he waited 6 months before touching it to edit. And I think it's so important to like try and forget everything you thought while you were on set, everything you learned in production or pre-production, and like try and take it and like look at it as a whole new project, instead of something that you're like fresh off of set and like continuation. And obviously I keep the vision, like I have still my mood boards and I know what I want it to look like, and it's like different when I'm the director or not, but in directing, like I also can kind of see how it's going to edit, so I like film in the way I would want it to edit, and obviously like leaving myself space and because things don't always work out that way, but it's a lot more helpful because instead of having takes that are like the entire scene, boom, like back to back to back, it's like, okay, well, I know in the wide I want them to say this, or I want this specific thing, whereas in the close-up I want this specific thing. So it helps in production as well, but coming into post, it's not like 10 takes of different angles, but it's all the same, and it's so much to like come into. So I think I like try to set myself up for success going into it, but it's the same thing. Like I love to do a cut, let other people give me notes. I mean, to me, it's like the editor's opinion with the directors at the end of the day, and it's all like that creative input. It's not up to everyone else to decide how it gets to be, but it's helpful to have those notes and be able to take maybe a week between cuts even just to like try and reset the whole thing looking into it. And like kind of like you're saying about trying different things, like sometimes I will be like, okay, I felt good about this scene, but like what if I just do something for fun just to like try it? And then sometimes it's like, yeah, never mind. And sometimes it's better than I thought it would be, and then that's what makes it. So it's like a lot of like fun experimenting and just trying to see, like I love edits that kind of have some flair, like not just like a basic storytelling, but something that has like something that's not like obvious and like attention distracting, but something that's like, oh wow, like there's an editor there, like someone put time and like creative passion into that, and I kind of love things like that. So I'm always trying to find new little things to try, new little ways to tell stories through an interesting edit. But yeah,
I'm curious because you edit so much, and something I'm noticing is like when I'm watching a movie, there will be things where I notice I'm like, oh, that's an intention there, and that's like why this editor did that.
Right.
Does that ever happen to you? And how do you work with that strange dynamic?
No, totally. It's so funny because coming into film, I remember someone telling me like, you're never going to be able to watch movies the same way ever again. And it's so true, especially in cams, because we're taught to analyze everything. And so like that has definitely like retrained my brain. But as an editor, as a director as well, like there are things that don't feel like chores that I'm like analyzing, but more it's like I can still enjoy a movie, but it's like when something speaks to me, it's like, wow, like they did a really good job with that. Like that's something that inspires me. It's not like I'm trying to like read everything for bad editing or good editing. It's more like there's a specific cut or a specific way an actor moves or the camera follows them that I'm like, I can be inspired by. And so like, it's more so like a fun thing for me that I can try and use to like take into my next project or something that can even just stick with me as a filmmaker. But it's a little bit more fun. I think I try and keep movies enjoyable still.
Yeah,
that's great. Also about editing, because I was in 310 and we would screen our rough cuts in class, and our row of like 6 professors would all give their notes on editing, and most of the times they're contradicting each other. So I'm curious, like when you bring in like other opinions on your films and your cuts, how do you figure out what is the right way to go about it?
Yeah, good question, because it's like a little bit of a lot of things. Like sometimes it's imposter syndrome, being like, okay, if they're all saying something different than what I have, then should I even be working on this? Should I even be here? But at the same point, like I feel like I'm drawn to editing, maybe not because I'm necessarily good at it, but because it's like something I have a big passion for and I like to learn more about and delve into. So I still feel like confident in myself as an editor to be able to bring a good edit to a table because I'm willing to like put a lot of time and effort into it. So with that being said, I feel confident to like make my own decisions and pursue my own vision, even with conflicting advice. And obviously, if 100 people are saying take this out, like yes, I will take it out. But like yeah, I think I definitely like trust myself to bring a good edit to the table. But again, I love to hear the feedback, and I'm not saying I'm not ever going to follow anyone's advice. I absolutely love to learn more from other people, and I find all the time like getting those feedbacks, it's so much like, wow, I hadn't even thought about that, or like they have that objective viewpoint that you as an editor don't really have because you're so close and like ingrained in that project that it's like really nice to get a point of view that is so removed from it. So it's like 9 times out of 10 more helpful than not, because yeah, like they'll have an interesting suggestion or something that ends up being more beneficial for the project than I had thought. But if it is conflicting, it is kind of fun to be like, okay, so we have something that's like a yes and something that's a no. Like, what can I do to like either find a good way to compromise within that, or something fun that they both wouldn't have expected, that's like not even a suggestion, like not even on the table. So it's all kind of just the fun of like experimenting within it.
Totally. And also, I mean, speaking of experimenting, you have been exploring a lot with your future and like what do you want to get into, right? So do you feel like right now you have like a solid idea, or do you think, you're excited to kind of, touch the, like dip your toes in the waters and like try things out?
Yeah, it's definitely more that second one.
Okay.
Because like I have an idea of what my ideal thing would be. Like I said, like if I could like day after graduation start at 8:24 as their assistant editor on like boom, that's my ideal. But there's so much that I'm also excited to explore. It's like obviously like that general anxiety of finding a job and finding your place, but it's all very exciting because it's so early in my career still that I still think there's so much for me to find within it. Like I have my whole time at USC, there's been just so much unexpected like roads that I've gone down that have brought me so much in learning about myself as an artist and what I want to do with my career and what I don't want to do with my career. So I'm still very excited about doing anything. Like I've been applying to a lot of everything, like production assistant jobs, fellowships and residencies and editing jobs and directing jobs and you name it. It's just kind of a little bit exciting to see what lands, like casting out all of my ropes and then whatever tugs is kind of where I feel like I'm gonna head next. But at that point it just feels like fate, leaving it up to the universe to see what gets me my job and then kind of find my path from there.
Yeah. And now you're almost at the end, or we are at the end of the USC journey. Are there anything that you would say to your maybe freshman or sophomore year self? What kind of advice would you give to that person, but also just in general to people who are trying to navigate their way through filmmaking, through maybe film school?
Yeah. I mean, I would like keep encouraging myself to keep trying everything. I think like in a controlled way, like don't say no. Like don't overwork yourself. I definitely think I like put myself through a little more suffering than I could have. But like it's also so fun to try things that I wouldn't have ever expected liking. And probably honestly to network a little more. I should have like talked to my professors a little more, made some of those connections, but I don't look back with like regret on anything. It's just kind of something I can take forward into the future. But for her in freshman year starting out, like it would be nice to know, to talk to more people, to work with more people, and try and see what comes out of that. But I think she did good enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you optimistic about the future of your career?
Yeah, I try and stay optimistic. I mean, it's obviously an interesting time to get into filmmaking, or honestly like any career in general right now, amidst our recession. However, I like if I'm not optimistic, it's just too depressing. So yeah, like I think especially trying to look at the bigger picture and see that like I'm pursuing film, like I just feel like really lucky to be here and to have like the education and the foundation that I have received. So I can definitely feel optimistic in that, especially with USC as the thing on top of my resume, you know. It's like hit or miss obviously, but it can be helpful. So I kind of feel optimistic with that, and I don't know, I think early on like deciding to go into this business like has allowed me to adapt a mindset of like working really hard and like trying absolutely everything necessary. And so I think carrying that into it and knowing I'll do what it takes kind of helps me, because I've like given myself that foundation to succeed, hopefully to succeed. So even like I said earlier, if I'm gonna be a barista or like work some part-time job for a while and be able to pursue my art on the side, like as long as there is that pursuance of art on the side, like I'm optimistic. So yeah.
In the like the next, I want to say like 5 years, what is like the number one thing that you want to achieve in your career?
Oh, interesting. Wait, that's a good question. I mean, I want to really take Teddy and Elizabeth to the next level. We are submitting to a ton of festivals right now, Oscar qualifying. So, like, first of all, that would be awesome to go to the Oscars. But obviously, that's not necessarily in my sights for the next 5 years. But yeah, to take that to the next level, to sell our feature and to start making it would be really, really incredible. And yeah, hopefully like at these festivals, get recognition and get funding and be able to take it to the next level. We really want to take our project and make it so much bigger. So, in those 5 years, I really hope to be able to take her there. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, I have a more theoretical question, but I actually asked our previous guests this as well. But if, say there's a spaceship that is, and I think there is one right now, that goes out into outer space, and if there's one film on there that would communicate with possible aliens about what movies are, what would that movie be for you?
Oh, interesting. Wait, that's such a fun question. Honestly, it might be La La Land, to be honest. Like, I think for me, it was like as if I was the alien, and it was like, okay, this is what a movie is, you know? It really brought to me how important, like, camera angles are, and, like, well, the camera itself as, like, a body, like, the oneers in it are just so magical, but colors as well, costume, performance. Like, I feel like it really does well in every department, and so, plus, obviously, having the big Hollywood aspect of it, like, definitely gives it the base of like, this is filmmaking, this is Hollywood, this is the business. But like, it definitely helped for me to be like, okay, this is a movie and this is like something that you can make and create as an artist. So I think an alien might appreciate it too.
That's such a cool answer.
I mean, Babylon was such a also great following.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Like,
especially that montage at the end, the aliens would be like,
I know, like,
whoa.
this is what it is. Yeah.
Right?
Oh
Definitely.
my God.
Yeah.
I guess sometimes listen to the soundtrack because when I'm
I
like
do
feeling
too.
a little depressed about the future of film, I'm like, well, this is why I got into it. It's
Right.
the art that's like so beautiful to me, and
Definitely.
you know, it is like it's almost like a time capsule of like what human life is during
Totally.
the time.
I know, it is really cool, Babylon, to like see how far it's come, especially like as CAMS majors, like we have studied exactly how far it's come.
Yeah.
And so it's cool that like one film kind of pulls that all together. And I actually wrote a paper on the soundtrack of it because
Me too. That's
Really?
what I wrote. I think it was either the sound design of it. It was
Oh.
for Symposium.
yeah, mine was too,
Yeah, I was
but
like, yeah.
mine was like the score and how much it like really brought to it and like really sets the scene. Obviously, especially because it's like discussing that crossover from from silent films to talkies. So it's obviously important, that sound within it, but yeah, I totally agree. Like Babylon is kind of maybe the blueprint for them, for the aliens.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
It's still so crazy that we were all in the same class.
I
at
can't
one
believe
point.
I know,
that.
it's such a small world.
I
mean,
know,
Yeah.
because we didn't know each other. It would
I
have
don't
been the
think
next semester.
no until like the next semester.
But it was actually in that class that Max and Charlotte, who were the presidents of
right.
the Filmmakers Club at the time, they saw me like sitting there before class had started one day, and they came up to me and they're like, "By the way, your script was picked for being made," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was like so crazy to me. My first semester at USC, I'm sitting in the Eileen Norris Cinema Theater, Leonard Maltin's like sitting up top, and then suddenly they're coming in and telling me my movie's being made. It was like a dream.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine how that feels. Yeah.
The people who started the Filmmakers Club, was it the people who made 4085 production?
Yeah.
There's some overlap for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they had started it.
I don't know.
I came in, I don't know when it actually started, but
They had an old name called FTW.
Yes,
Film
yes.
TV
Writers
Writers Club.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now they've rebranded to something
Yeah.
new. But
Yeah.
I think that club existed before 4085.
Oh,
right?
gotcha.
Yes. And I don't know if Max was the first president or not, or the founder of the club, but like he is the co-founder of 4085, so.
Do you know what they're up to? I don't know.
Honestly, no.
I'm not too
I
sure
follow
either.
them, but
Yeah.
I know they had like a big batch of films that they had kind of made all at once, and I think they're like doing finishing touches on some, and like some are in festivals and whatnot, but they're all graduated now, so I don't really get to see them anymore.
I know two of the founding members are working in the industry now in like
Really?
different capacities. Yeah.
Oh,
like
interesting.
assistants and mailroom and stuff.
Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
They're definitely trying to like understand how the bigger game is played so that they can maybe bring back their content and then make it
Interesting.
stronger. So.
Yeah, I actually had a meeting with Max once because a friend and I were considering starting our own production company. So we talked to him about his whole thing, and it was just really interesting to get his advice of like how to start, when to start especially, and that kind of made me decide not to start now.
What was that?
It was just like knowing the right people and having the right foundation and knowing the exact vision of the company itself, having like a really strong brand for yourself.
Interesting.
Which was really interesting to me. And it's not that I don't have a brand, it's just more that I think there's so much still to learn about my brand. So I was like, okay, it's not quite that time, but
It's interesting. I'm not quite sure what their brand is.
yeah, I
They
think
make a lot of different stuff.
right.
So.
He discussed to me about the brand being like young people telling new stories, and I mean, like, yeah, I definitely think that's true. So
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. That's cool though. I mean, I just heard the word the guy Max, and I was like, wait, I haven't heard him in like so long.
I know.
I know, it's such a nostalgic
I wonder
thing
what he's
now.
up to now.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I know what's his name? What's the other founder? Alex Nimrod.
Oh,
He's an
yeah.
actor as well.
Yeah, actually, I think I saw him at a play last night.
Oh no!
Oh, what?
I know he's acting. Like
Really?
he's picking back up acting. Like
Oh, okay.
seriously
I mean, he was
more.
in the audience, but
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought he was
well, I
like
should
totally in
have
the
probably
stage.
clarified that.
Right.
But I mean, at least he's in the sphere,
Yeah.
What play was it?
It was at USC. It was Midsummer's Night Dream.
Oh, cool.
It
So
was
many plays going
so
on
good.
recently.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to play after this podcast.
Really?
It's
Which
also
one?
SDA, I think. It's called Something Rotten.
Oh, I saw that at UCLA. It's so
Oh,
funny.
I'm excited.
It's so good.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna see Angels in America coming up.
Mm.
My
Which
boy
is-
Riley's in it.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my god. Wait, he's dating my friend Ella.
Oh. I don't know who Ella is, but
Oh.
he is dating someone.
Well, it's Ella. She's my coworker. That's
Oh
who I'm
my
gonna
God.
go see in it. But it's
Okay.
like 3 hours.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I was trying to get him to act in one of my in-class
Okay,
activities, and he's
alright.
like, I got this play.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. But it sounds fun. So, well,
Hmm.
it doesn't. Maybe not fun, but it sounds informative. So.
Yes. I mean, he's always killing it, and I'm sure his girlfriend's gonna do great. So
Yeah, I
that's
know. I'm
awesome.
excited to see them
Absolutely.
both.
You did theater though? Were you an actress?
Yes, but like
Okay.
not something ever that I was like, oh, I'm gonna be an actress, except for when I was like 5, you know.
Oh. Yeah.
But like, yeah, I did theater in high school a little bit differently though, because it was like this program, like a competitive theater program, where you like write a short script with a small team, and then you have to make all your own sets, your costumes, like everything, and then you take it to a competition. You like take it all with you, and you have like a box to perform in. You can't step out of it, and you have 8 minutes to put on this play. But this play also isn't a response kind of to like a lot of parameters they set that get you points, and then it's like, you know, the judges
That's such an
that get
interesting
you there.
concept.
It was really fun, and like we got to make it to like the state, like progress from regionals to state a couple of years, and it was so fun. Like that's what introduced me to directing, because I wrote and directed all of those, but
Right.
we were also like all performers within it, and then also like did everything. So it also like gave me a good introduction for everything. But yeah, it was just more like acting for fun. It wasn't really something I considered doing, but it is fun.
It's so fascinating how like a lot of times like in our childhood there's these little things that are planted that eventually makes us want to be
Yeah.
directors
I
one day.
know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have never seen that coming, but now in my head it's like such a direct pipeline. It feels so obvious to me now.
Yeah. How does theater like play into your filmmaking? Is there any interconnection there?
Oh, yeah, huge. Like also like within performance art as well. Like there's a lot of overlap with theater, and I'm in a theater class right now for that minor, so it's like kind of all interconnected. But I feel like it's so similar. It's obviously different in like the logistics of filmmaking, of action and cut, and you're not doing it all at once in one go, but it's like so informative for me as a director having that experience as a performer. Especially because within that competition, we, again, like worked within a box, which is like a frame. And so it was really interesting not getting to step outside that box, but learning how to direct the audience's attention to a piece of that box and not the whole thing at once was super interesting, with the way we built our sets or the way that we blocked the actors. There was 8 of us that were allowed to be in it. So just the way that we could use like, you know, height within that box or depth within it, or the way that like I could position the actors to like lead your eye somewhere, or even like with set design to like paint specific lines to lead your eye somewhere, was really informative for filmmaking, but like also really interesting to discover way back when, because I started that program in elementary school and then worked through high school. And then now I feel like it's been so interesting to take that experience into something that feels so different, but at its roots is just the same.
Yeah. A lot of it's just drama and storytelling.
Yeah.
Across different formats.
I think it's so good that you are exploring so many facets of filmmaking, because I think as a director you kind of need to know everything, right?
Fully,
And it kind of like everything kind of informs all the little decisions you make, like whether it's the lighting, directing, or
definitely.
editing, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
No, I've made it my goal to try every role on set, and I have done everything but AD, which I'm not gonna ever do.
Why
Because I'm not a timekeeper.
Okay.
Like, me and my AD are always beefing in a funny way. Like, there's no beef ever, but it's like I always need more time and they're always giving me less. And I'm not someone that's good at time management, so it's not for me. But that being said, like, I've tried every single thing else, and it's just been so helpful as a director, but also just as someone in the industry or like making films. Like, it's so helpful to know a little bit of everything, to be able to speak to people in a language they understand, you know, using terms that they're using as in that department, or to just have a general understanding of what it actually takes to do to gaff, you know, or to grip. Like, it's exhausting, and it's really helpful to know, as especially a director, and like being able to take care of a crew, like understanding that people have bigger needs than me as a director who's just kind of standing around, even though it's like a lot more than that, but I'm not, you know, doing the heavy lifting of that. So it it's definitely helped me gain some empathy with everyone on my crew.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's sick. And you wanted to turn Teddy and Elizabeth into a feature script, right? Who, like, you are working with a co-writer. How did you find this co-writer?
She's one of my best friends here. How do we meet? I think we met through a mutual friend, like, way back when. And we never started as, like, collaborators. Like, we had built a pretty strong friendship first. And it was just kind of fun to have, like, side-by-side careers within, like, school, but never, like, an overlap until just about a year and a half ago now. And so it's been kind of fun to have such a strong, like, friendship foundation, but then take that into making art together. Yeah, like, she wasn't even really involved in film until Teddy and Elizabeth because, again, she's, like, creative writing major. So she had done tons of poetry and short stories, and she has a novel and everything. Wow. But it was fun for, like, me to be able to teach her about filmmaking and her to be able to teach me about writing. So I think that's why our partnership works so well too, on top of us being close friends. I think we can just, like, really help each other, and there's never any like hatred at the end of the day, or, like, even if we're disagreeing about something, it's not, like, spiteful, you know. It's like an artist disagreements at the end of the day, and not, like, something we're gonna take personally. So
I mean, honestly, I think that's huge. Like, having a co-writer with you and making, especially with the feature script, like, writing by yourself, like, it might be a little hard, right? Yeah, and it's like when you can keep each other accountable and like bounce ideas off of each other, I think that's super helpful.
Yeah, definitely. It's so fun. We have, like, weekly meetings, and we just get to, like, ideate together. But it's, like, I don't know, the way I describe it, it's, like, almost like gossiping, because it's like making up stories together, like you would in, like 6th grade summer camp, you know, like, you'd, like, tell stories to each other. At least for us girls, like, it's just so fun to be like, da, 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 like, and then this happens, and then that, and then suddenly we have a movie in front of us, and it's just kind of felt like we're hanging out. So it's kind of fun, but yeah.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. So what's besides that feature, you know, and you're wanting to do editing, like, what are other things outside of film that you're, like, interested and want to explore more?
Yeah. For me, like, a huge thing that has spoken to my films as well, but, like, is really important to me outside of it is like, sustainability and climate change. So I love, like, activism. Activism, right?
Yeah,
activism. Wow. Okay. So
the government's
losing it here. Activism within that sphere is, like, really important to me. I mean, like, at the very beginning, I thought I was going to be an environmental studies major and, like, change the world. And I still would love to keep pursuing that. So anything within that. But since then, I've kind of, like, taken that to my films. I love to set my films in the outdoors and be able to, like, use the environment as a character. Like, in Teddy and Elizabeth, the tree was a huge character. Well, as well as the snake, obviously, but like, the environment as a character is really important to me, and, like, climate change storytelling through film it's kind of like a meshing of the two worlds I love, but I think it's super important to, like, display it on screen and try and gain recognition for the environment and its importance and what's being done to it through film, because I think it's just such a good agent for storytelling and for change. So yeah, outside of film, like, I could definitely pursue that completely separately, but it's kind of fun to bring them together.
Yeah, you can fund a lot of things with the movie money, or vice versa,
right? I'm hoping that'd
absolutely.
be really great. That's like goal number one, if I can really make it, to, like, really make some change within that. So
yeah, I think there's some, like, fellowships or funds that's related to that. So
yeah,
I'll definitely look into it.
Okay, yeah, good to know.
There's a lot of film festivals too, based like eco something. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
I know.
a lot. That's awesome.
Those are fun. And yeah, would love to get into them.
Great. And when I, like, started, I told Richard, but, like, when I was little, I wanted to be a zoologist.
Aww.
And I took my love for, like, my pets and, like, my, like, toy animals and stuff. and I started telling stories with them, and that's how I got into filmmaking.
Yeah.
And I think it's such an important part of telling stories is making those changes to our world and like kind of shedding light on issues and trying to like promote like a better future. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I totally agree.
I think that's when the film like transcends just like a product, right? It becomes more powerful and
Definitely
more important.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I'm not really here to make like commercial films and like just make a buck. Like I again like really want to make something that's meaningful and like inspire change, and like it's a much bigger circle than just like climate change storytelling. Like there's so much to like tell within films, but it just feels more meaningful to me because a lot of times I'm like what am I doing? Like I feel like I'm not like important as a director or like making movies. Like it doesn't feel important to me because people are out there like, you know, doing heart surgery and I'm just making movies. But it is something I always remind myself that so much change can be made within audiences through films, and like it's how I've come to a lot of my personal opinions and beliefs, so I hope to inspire others within that as well.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I do think the movies do have such a huge power.
So
Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah.
Even if you look at, okay, this is kind of dark, but like if you look at the best documentary winners and then some of the films they've made and the effects that had on the cultural landscape, like No Other Lands, you know, you can see how the other government reacted based on that.
Yeah.
So was the film Navalny too, about the Russian guy. And it's
Oh,
like
okay.
so many of these films do like people watch it and it changes how they think.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people are very careful. Like governments are very censoring of these things, and it's
Right.
like that shows the power of storytelling.
Yeah,
It's quite
absolutely.
incredible.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's inspiring too that
It
like
is.
we are in a position to make those waves. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And also something we do on this show is the the previous guest.
right here.
Give me my thank you so much. Previous guest would give the current guest a question, and the previous guest of this podcast, who you actually briefly saw, wrote the question: do you think you are a good person? Yeah.
of course I like to think so. I mean, honestly, I ask myself that question all the time. Like, gotta keep myself in check. But like, yeah, like
Yeah.
I definitely there's always things to improve. But at the end of the day, like I try and do an act of kindness every day. I try and like spread joy, positivity, and just try and keep people's spirits high. And I think as long as I can continue to leave other people feeling good or better than when I met them or when I left them, like I can safely say, yeah, I can feel that I'm doing something for other people, even if it's small little things. I'm not, you know, killing people or anything. So I think I am. I'd like
Well,
to say so.
Yeah, no, you definitely kept the energy high on this podcast.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
no, thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming on.
Thank you.
It was
Thank you
great
guys for having me. I've had
was
such
fun.
a good conversation.